Alright, here's what's going on. We're going to inlay this H, which is maple. I've printed out the H on the computer, glued it to the maple, cut it out with scroll saw, sanding around the edges, got it looking pretty. That is an H. And whichever way it's supposed to go. So then we're going to inlay it on the top. The maple will be shown. It won't be black, of course. Big maple. Into this walnut. And so we've set it now on here where we want it to be, centered on the piece of tabletop. And now I've marked around it with this pencil real carefully. And now I'm taking this X-Acto knife, cobalt, little plug for cobalt, and we're scribing around, or not scribing, but we're etching around the outline so that when we router this out, we will it won't chip out the edges of that. But we'll cut a real smooth line. And so alright, we're etching around the outline of the H. It'll be an H and then an R. So it's going to take a little while. And it stands for Human Resources. I really like Human Resources. I like Toby Flenderson particularly. Anyway, we're sketching around that, and so you got to be really careful when you do this. Anybody that knows me knows I do not have steady hands, and so you got to take your time. And we're going to the inside of that pencil line, and we're just taking our time. If you mess up, you want to mess up the inside like that, because that wood will be gone later. Okay, we've etched around the whole H. Can't really tell. The only way you can really tell is by rubbing your hand over it. You feel the etch real smooth. So now we move on to the R. It doesn't stand for Human Resources. You can figure out what it stands for on your own. The H and the R have been cut out, if you can see them. So they will go in their places. Getting ready to go outside at 10:05 p.m. and we're going to router out inside of there that thick. Not quite that thick, but about a 1/16 of an inch less than that. So they'll be sticking up a little bit, then we can sand them down. Set my router here to cut just a little bit below. I'm going to go about a 1/16 of an inch to be safe, below the height of the letter that we've cut out. Now we're starting routering out inside of there. This is the loud, annoying part. But you got to be real careful, real slow. We're going to work up to the outside line. I want to show you this. Why I etched that line on that H is because you can see that all frilly like that. And when I get up to that line, it is going to not, where I've cut those fibers of that wood, it'll cut smooth. And that's when I know I'm right to that line. And I'll demonstrate that right now. I just said demonstrate. Alright, we're down here on the bottom of the H, and I don't know if you've got a clear shot of that, where I etched it. I've been talking about with the wood fiber sticking out, and then what happens when I cut it. And so anyway, I want to kind of show you what happens with that. It's pretty cool. that's what I'm talking about. You can see those just kind of disappear, and when that happens, you know you've got right to the line, and you don't need to go any further, and just kind of pull back. So, alright, we've got the R cut out. It's pretty much done. The H is still in the rough condition. You can see because of the frilly edges. Anyway, we got our taking our time. It's really neat when you etch that outline and you get up to it with that router. Those edges just get real smooth. That's how it would look if you didn't etch those lines. But I did nothing else to this besides etch those, and you can see the difference in the lines. It's pretty cool. So then that's going to go just like a big puzzle. That'll go down in there. Now, that's the first time I've tried it, and it never fits for me the first time because I'm not that good. But it will go down in there. I can just see a couple little spots where I got to trim a little bit, and but that's part of it. You'd rather it be too big like that, where you have to take out a little bit more than it slide in. You have a bunch of gaps around there. So anyway, so that'll go down in there, and I'm going to finish up with the H, and then do the little final work, and we'll see how it looks when it's done. Alright, we finished the H and the R, all smooth. I just pulled the router off of it, so once again, I know I'm beating a dead horse, but etching those lines really helps. And so we're going to finish the final fitting and glue those things in. Alright, we got the letters inlaid into the wood. Barely really had to do any trim up, just a couple of spots. And then I like to just tap it in. I usually take a block of wood and sit over top of it and hit it a few times with a hammer. And you don't want to go too hard. But it went in real good. You can see we've got a little sanding, about a 1/16 high, which is what I wanted. And so pretty happy with it. And there'll be a little gap here every now and then. I don't know if anybody can do it perfect without any gaps. And for that, when you're sanding it, you want, if you could just get a little, that's my dog over in the background. Hey, Allie. But anyways, if you get a little sawdust in there, it fills those up real good and fills those cracks in. Anyways, we'll look back here in a second. Alright, sanded that paper off of the letters, and you can kind of see the contrast a little bit more with the H and the R, and pretty pleased with it. So, I know, you critics, you see that little gap right there, I do too. We'll fill it in with a little walnut sawdust and get over it.